This is the plaintiff, Diane. She says her uncle passed away, and the defendant, his dear longtime friend, stole his belongings from the condo her uncle lived in. She never gave the defendant permission to take all of her uncle's things. She doesn't know what this guy's trying to pull, but she does know the value of his stuff is more than the $5,000 she's capped at suing for. So that's what she's trying to get today. This is the defendant, Edward. He says he's known the plaintiff's uncle for 40 years, and he was a dear, dear friend of his. He helped clean out his condo and moved all of his belongings into the garage so the place could be painted. The plaintiff gave him a grandfather clock. He admits to also taking a nutcracker, a ceramic good luck cat, and a couple of screwdrivers. And if she wants those things back, he'll return them today, unharmed. But $5,000, please! He's accused of taking it all.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay. Diane, you are the executrix of the estate of your uncle Everett. Edward, you're being sued by Diane because according to Diane, he has taken or $5,000 worth of stuff is missing. What's going on?
On March 4th, my uncle entered the hospital, and through several operations and hospitalizations, rehab, and he unfortunately succumbed to his injuries on the 31st of May. At that time, on the 1st of June, Social Security and pension money was put into his account, and on the 2nd, Edward, with my knowledge,
With your knowledge or with your consent?
with my knowledge and consent,
Okay.
I'd say both, removed $6,947.
What is Edward to your uncle?
He's a dear friend
For how long?
for about 40 years.
Okay. How old was Everett?
He just turned 80 before his death.
Okay. So he passes away and he had left a will.
Correct.
And in the will, he lists you as the executor.
And all his possessions go to myself and my cousin. And I
Okay.
have a copy of the will if you
Who
want.
was his other niece.
That's correct.
All right. Now, he also left a life insurance policy, correct?
Correct. There were
And you were
5
the
of them.
beneficiary of the life insurance
Yes.
policy. And how much was the life insurance policy for?
$10,000.
And how much it was in the estate?
Well, the estate, through the life insurance policies, the estate was, got $25,000 in the estate. So, and I got
How much was the
$20,000.
actual estate worth before the insurance policy? The rest of the, I shouldn't say the actual, the rest of the,
0.
oh. Why are we here? What's missing? What
Well,
went wrong and how did it go wrong?
We're here because when I went over all the boxes that were in the, quote, garage, I found a lot of missing items,
Okay, but let's backtrack a second. He passes away in May of 2017.
right?
And what do you know you're the executrix, right?
Right.
Like that didn't come as a surprise.
Right?
All right, so do you change the locks on the condo?
I did not, because there was a painter involved that was going to be painting the condo,
You hired a painter, and
Correct.
why did you point at the defendant right now?
because it was his friend.
All right, so when you come down, have you known him for years?
Those 40 years, give and take, that
Yeah, that's years.
Everett known
All right.
him.
So you ask him, hey, you know the name of a painter? And he tells you the name of a painter. And then do you call the painter, get an estimate? How does that work?
Actually, the painter had already done several pieces of work in the condo. He had painted the ceilings.
Wait,
and
before the death?
before the death.
Okay.
My uncle had never had this place painted. So the painter has his own access, and Edward had evidently paid the painter in full.
Did you pay him in full?
On the 6th.
Why?
I paid him because I ended up getting bullied. Don't pay anybody, don't do this, I'm not going to do the painting unless I get paid. The agreement was that he would paint the house, the
What do you mean by
condo,
bullied? Why are you involved?
because I was writing the checks.
Why were you writing the check?
Because I had taken that money to help pay for the bills at the tail end.
How much did you pay the painter?
33,000 something?
Were you friends with the painter?
I know him, yes, yes.
Or what
Yes.
happened between you and the painter?
I ended up having a fallout with him. His friendship and mine just wasn't working out right. And eventually in November, I asked him, I went to court and had a protective order put against him.
Why did you have a protective order put against him?
Because he hit a glass out of my hand one night.
Were you dating him?
No.
How did he hit a glass out of your hand? And what-
He was at the house visiting and he just knocked the glass out of my
He was
hand.
aggressive, abusive.
So you got a restraining order for him not to go to Everett's house?
No, to my house, or to be near me at all.
So you are suing because other items that you value at $5,000
That's
are
correct.
missing. You
Correct.
noticed them missing on what date?
Well, they started to disappear probably about the third week in June.
And you still
And-
didn't change your lock?
No, that's because of the painter was there.
I don't care. Well, then maybe the painter's stealing stuff. That's what you think now. He might have stolen stuff, right?
I don't
Exactly,
know.
you
Between
don't
them, they
know.
were both
So if things
there.
are missing, why would you continue to give a key to the painter
Well,
if you
'cause
notice
I'm-
something missing?
I'm not there to, I guess I was going on blind faith that
No,
these
but blind faith
two-
is why you give him a key. Why
Right.
don't you take back the key when you notice things missing in June? What do you notice missing?
He was already paid
All right.
for
So what do
the
you notice
job.
missing in June?
Well, I have a couple pictures of my uncle's place that he took back in the end of in 2013. And he was concerned about things being removed from the house after his death. And I
That was 4
he
years
took
before his
pictures.
death.
That is correct. And he took pictures because he was concerned what people might
Okay,
come in and remove
I'm
stuff.
asking you a very specific question. What is missing that you're suing for $5,000? Give me do you have a list of the things that you feel are missing?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and how did you notice these things missing?
Because I went through, from the pictures that I have, this is a list of missing items.
Based on the picture.
Based on the pictures and I was up there,
Let me
So
see the list
often.
of missing items.
thank you.
12-inch small-scale model Canon from Top Shelf,
Yes,
okay? And you know that exists, why? From a picture taken 4 years before his death? How do you know he didn't give it to somebody else?
I don't know that.
Exactly. And you're the
Right.
plaintiff who comes into court with a burden of proving what it is they're saying.
Right.
You have alleged that he owes you for it. What evidence do you have that he owes you for it? Did you take the Canon?
Yes.
All right, next, 12-inch Canon. All right, next, 2 12-inch nutcrackers.
I have a small nutcracker.
1 nutcracker.
One, yes.
Okay, where's the other one?
I don't know.
Okay, and you took the nutcracker because?
A remembrance?
Okay, did you ever talk to her about it before taking it or no?
I have to say no on that.
Okay,
Sorry.
can I see the nutcracker so I can see the value of the item that we're talking about? You gotta be kidding me. Okay.
I think the head is supposed to go on the
No,
other
that's-
side.
Yeah, it's backwards.
It's
feet are
backwards?
the feet are backwards.
His feet are in the opposite direction.
I think it's the feet that are. It's all right. You can just leave
good.
him Linda Blair-like. That's a lot of young people laughing at that. I don't know how that can
That's
be.
right.
That's The Exorcist, back when you people weren't even twinkles in anybody's eyes. All right. So let's see. From the kitchen, miss. Okay, there's a 10-inch Japanese Good Luck ceramic cat.
It's in
You
the
have that
box.
in there. I'd like to see that. Go ahead, bring that out. All right, and then from the kitchen, we have a 3-hole puncher, a 4-pound bag of sugar.
I know I'm
spices.
being anal retentive on this, but it was to
That's not
prove
anal
a
retentive.
point.
That's nickel and diming. It's different. A 4-pound of sugar, and you know that there was a 4-pound bag of sugar there. Why?
Because I bought it.
Okay. Did you take the 4-pound bag of sugar?
I don't use sugar.
Okay. Various boxed and packaged food items. According to you, you went through his apartment and threw out.
Outdated items. You know, if the can was 3 years old, are you going to eat it?
No, I'm not. But did you live there with him ever?
No. I spent Friday nights with him, and we'd go out to dinner. Saturdays, I would go
How did you
down-
know him?
He lived where I have my condo. He was the president of the board.
Okay, so
When
you've
I
been
started-
friends with him for how long?
40.
Wow. All right. Glassware of various sizes, numerous plastic disposable. Oh, 2 rolls of paper towels. Okay. That are missing because because you bought them.
That's correct.
And according to you, when you were cleaning the place for her, you used paper towels, but you don't know if they're the same paper towels. We could forensically test the paper towels if you still had them. All right. Dining room. You have a list, and the list goes on and on of things that are missing. Some of them, German beer steins. Some of these things you did take, and you acknowledged taking them, and you didn't ask her about it. Do you feel like you were closer to him than she was?
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, sometimes that's the case. That you could feel like you're in the life of that person, especially if you live in the same city and she doesn't. But they're not yours to take, though.
Right.
You get it, right?
Yeah.
She's the executor, and that's estate stuff, whatever worth that has.
He realized it
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
It was just through the grieving process.
2 frogs under an umbrella. You got that?
I wrapped it. It was the hardest thing to wrap in paper.
Say it again.
It was the hardest thing to wrap in newspaper to put in a box.
And he packed it in the garage.
That's one of the things you
That's
packed.
not in question.
Oh, well then why'd you sue for it?
I have it. I thought I had that starred.
Okay, you have several things that are highlighted. Did you find those?
I found those.
Oh,
and
so
that's
you
why
had
I
filed a
indicate-
lawsuit claiming that we're missing, and you've since found those. Okay.
Those ones I have.
Okay.
Yes.
This is what I'm aware of. Since I did not have a chance to go over all of my uncle's possessions, I am probably missing items from the list. If you didn't go over all of your uncle's possessions, how do you know these items aren't in the stuff you didn't go over?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So why do people fight so much when somebody dies? Why do families fight?
It's just a difficult situation for everybody.
But why does that trigger fights?
Because it's high emotions and they want basically not to feel.
Who's got the magic word? Magic word?
Grieving? They're grieving?
No. Huh? Oh, I'm going all the way over here. Say again.
It's money.
There you go. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
I went over the boxes that were there, what I could see, and
What didn't you go over? You put the caveat here for court.
Okay.
I mean, if you haven't, you're the executor, and you don't bother to go through everything a year and a half later, even though you're suing, why should I trust what's missing, what you say is missing and what's not? I can't believe I just read this.
Right.
But you think that I'm going to order him to pay you $5,000. On what planet? Not this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to come back and join us on this one. You're not a good executor. You're not in control. And now you're angry that a year and a half later, you're finding all of a sudden you've had this inspiration to be in control. You're looking at pictures from 4 years before he died, and you're comparing. Now all of a sudden you're Perry Mason here, and now is a little bit late after you've been giving access to people. The things he did, I believe him when he says these are the only things he took, and he's given him back, and it almost breaks my heart to make you give him back. But because I gotta imagine that he would want you to have them if they were more meaningful to you than to her. It's silly. But I have to order you to give them back because they belong to the estate. My cat's creepy anyway.
Well, my cousin never had a chance to review anything.
Never had a chance. Who stopped her? You're the executor. You're the person who should have the only set of keys to the place. Who stopped her? It's not, I didn't have a chance. He took money out with my knowledge. You keep trying to backtrack your complicity in all of this that made silly things like sugar get missing, which is you give the keys to a party who's not here, who apparently was violent and he had to get a restraining order against, but you think that that's sufficient evidence to make him pay you $5,000. No. Verdict for the defendant. Except for that stuff. That stuff goes back to her.
So the plaintiff loses her $5,000 lawsuit and walks out of court with a nutcracker. How do you feel?
A little disappointed.
I'm not surprised.
But I have my nutcracker, so
Yeah,
I can, and a few other items.
Shame he didn't bring the sugar with him, too.
That's
He could have
correct.
taken that. I can't believe you put that on the list. Sugar and paper
I
towels?
was being anal retentive.
You
yes.
really were. No kidding. No
At the
kidding.
time, I wanted to make the point that he had removed everything from the house.
You heard the judge. She let you have it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Be
Take
careful
care.
with it. Edwards is on his way out of the court. You going to miss that nutcracker, you think?
No.
You're going to be okay?
Yeah.
You surprised to get sued from her or not?
Yes.
I would think so.
Yeah.
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 Well, thank you very much,
You're
okay?
welcome. Thank
Good
you.
enough. Okay, congratulations. Harvey?
Well, I got to tell you, the plaintiff not only doesn't have evidence, she doesn't even have a theory here. It's much more likely somebody else did it.